What's up, guys? So it is the evening. I took out this meatloaf. I had frozen this meatloaf, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and I took it out and I'm gonna make it for dinner tonight. Um, just got home and I want to go out to the garden. I was in the garden before I left, and I'm laying down landscape fabric. I said in my last video that I was going to lay down some landscape fabric, probably right by the in-ground bed. And so I had laid it down, but I didn't start stapling it in. And so that's what I'm going to do after I get this meatloaf in the oven. Can I just say how happy I am about this rose bush climbing? It's about to get a new bud right there, or blossom, but it was like up to here when I put it in there. And I cannot wait till next season when it's completely full. Of course, this one's growing back that the goats, I almost said deer, that the goats ate, but really excited. So what I'm out here for is because I am putting landscape fabric down the middle walkway here. So right here where I dragged the holes, and so the wood chips were just moving and I could see the cardboard and the ground. Also, when I built this garden and I didn't know there is an actual slope, I know that the back half of my property is like really slopey and it goes down into like a dome, where the previous owner had his garden and realized that it got just too wet to have an in-ground garden there, and then he had a potted garden. But I chose this space for my garden because I thought it was the flattest part of our property, as well as the part where when I was watching the sun last season, or last year, we closed on this property October 18th, and when I was watching the sun, it was coming from this side, which I knew was east, and setting west. And so I figured this would be full sun and it was flat, and so this is why I chose this area. But it does slope that way, and so a lot of the wood chips have washed away that way, and it's just a mess. And so I decided that I'm going to put this landscape fabric down. I've had this landscape fabric since I built this garden. If I would have thought about it before, I would have just laid it down before I put the beds down. But I thought, oh, it would be fine to have wood chips pathways because that's what I had in my old garden. But I'm quickly finding out that I should have laid the landscape fabric down beforehand, which I did lay it down at the front of the garden to separate the log raised beds from the wooded side raised beds, but I should have just laid it down everywhere. Anyway, the landscape fabric that I have is 4 feet wide, and these pathways are not 4 feet wide, and so I just flipped it in, as you can see, underneath itself, and then I have it to exactly where, basically where the soil's at, kind of. And so yeah, you can see it better right here. So this will move in just a little bit right there, and then I'll add some more soil here, which I did get some more soil, and then this will all be covered. You can kind of see better right here where like the cardboard is showing, and especially right here, and all the wood chips have washed away. So this is what I'm trying to fix. And so I started with maybe 3 staples, but I'm going to get this finished. With the sun setting earlier now, since it is fall, it's beautiful out here. I did put on a sweater because I get cold really easily, even though the weather feels really, really good. I am going to put this on a time lapse while I do this because I have probably, I have an hour of daylight, but I have less than an hour because I put that meatloaf on 45 minutes inside the house. So right here, I am just burning a line going across this landscape fabric. This fabric is woven weed fabric, and if you just cut a line, it can potentially unravel on itself. And so they tell you that if you sear the ends, it's better to keeping it from unraveling on itself. And so that's what I'm doing. I decided to stop right here. At the end, this is the last bed in the garden before it goes into the empty space, but I decided to stop here because I want to put the landscape fabric going the opposite direction. And I had put in some staples earlier because it was really windy, but that was before I left my house. And so I'm coming back and decided, instead of burning and cutting or whatever, I am just going to flip it on itself and not waste the fabric, and then staple them in. So this project was very therapeutic. It was a beautiful day outside. I'm so loving the fall weather. It was in the mid 70s, and so it just felt nice to get this done. It made me feel really good. I did have a couple spots where I pulled out some weeds underneath. That was one of the spots right there where some grass was growing. And so I just pulled it out before I landscaped over it, and then it just like maybe grew through the fabric. Okay, my daughter just came and told me that the oven beeps, so I have to go put the glaze on the meatloaf. But we did get almost the whole pathway stapled in. We still have right here, but I guess I'll save that for tomorrow. But this looks better already. I did go ahead and burn off so that it can go right here instead of folding it in, and then just so that it could reach to here, even though this walkway is smaller. I did look on Amazon, which is where I got this landscape fabric from, and but this is a 4 feet one, and so I did look at getting a 3 foot one, and so maybe I'll get the 3 foot one because my pathways I feel like are 30 inches, and so if I got a 3 foot one, I could just go ahead and landscape fabric all the pathways without wasting too many inches or having to cut and burn and all that like I'm doing now. I'm gonna use this glaze that I got, or that I made, the peach jalapeno jam, and that's what I'm gonna use to put on this meatloaf. It's not spicy. We tasted it and it was actually really sweet. I did de-seed the jalapenos when I made this, and so maybe next time, I am spilling that everywhere. Maybe next time I will leave the seeds in to make it have a little more spice. So I put the meatloaf back inside the oven for 15 minutes after I put the glaze on top. And now I'm going to make macaroni. And so I just put 4 cups of macaroni noodles, elbow noodles, inside the Instant Pot. I'm going to do Instant Pot macaroni and cheese. I have a can of chicken broth that I can. So I'm going to add that, 4 cups. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. Pressure cook it for 6 minutes when I find the salt. And then we'll add cheese and it will be delicious. We'll have that. And I think I'm going to do either broccoli or green beans. I have to check the freezer. I added this frozen green beans, and I added bacon grease to the bottom, and then put these frozen green beans. And I'm going to saute that with a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's what we'll have with our meatloaf and macaroni. So I had showed in my last video the, what is this called? Industrial shelves that I had my husband put up for me, and then someone asked where I got it from. So I actually got the pipes and everything off of Amazon, but I put it together and then told him where I wanted it, and then he measured it and screwed them in for me, and then I went to Home Depot and got the wood and stained it and put it up, and then he only had the so he only had the left and the right one, and then I went and got the shelf, stained it, and then put it up, and then he added in the third piping for me, but I had already pre-measured it. And so this is 18 inches because I knew I wanted to have like bigger things there. You can make them 12 inches. But yeah, this is 18 inches and 18 inches. And I had already measured that this from top to bottom would be 3 feet. And so 36 inches is how I got 18 inches and 18 inches. You want to put them, I'm thinking either along this wall right here. I'm thinking about either putting them along this long wall right here or this shorter wall from maybe about, I don't know, where this window going down, because I'm not that tall, to have the shelving. Right now I have the wire shelves for my food, but I definitely want to get the industrial shelves up, and I have the material for it. I just need to paint the kitchen. So the macaroni's done. I did vent it as soon as it stopped, and this is what it looks like. And now I'm just going to add in the cheese. You can see there's still a little broth down there. I did buy, I think it was like 10 pounds of cheddar cheese from Azure Standard, and then 10 pounds of Parmesan cheese, and then I grinded or grated it up and put them in like little bags for later use. But I realized I ran out of sharp cheddar cheese, and so I don't have any more, so I'm just going to use the packaged stuff, but I still have some more of the Parmesan, so I'm going to add Parmesan and sharp cheese to the macaroni. These are the green beans right here, and then the meatloaf is back there. Okay, so this is what it's looking like with all the cheese inside of there. I love that this macaroni can be made in the Instapot, and it comes together super fast. I did want to mention that the Homesteaders of America conference is coming up on Friday and Saturday, and I've been meaning to mention it, but I kept forgetting. But I'm remembering right now that I'm going to be at the conference, so if I see any of you guys, definitely, or if you guys see me, definitely come say hi. I'm so excited. This is going to be my first one to go to. When they first started, I don't know, 4 years ago, I definitely wanted to go and couldn't, and then we moved and sold our property. And each year there's been something, but this year I made it my mission. I bought my tickets last year, so I'm so excited to go. And I look forward to meeting any of you guys, if I see you guys, and just learning and listening to the speakers, and I'm so excited about it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as we did a quick trip to the garden, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.